the Celtics won both basketball games. Game 1, Jordan, 49 points, a sweet turnaround there. But the Celtics, down by 12 in the first half, start to launch their comeback. An outlet fast break here. Danny Ainge to Robert Parrish. The Chief tomahawks in a pair. The Celtics are on their way back. Bird just outside the three-point line. Of course, 3 for Larry Bird. The Celtics take a 2-point lead at halftime, then take control in the second half. Dennis Johnson, the main man. 2 of his second half 24 points there. The Celtics keep rolling. This time it's Ainge on a steal. A marvelous play. Keeps it inbounds. McHale to Bird. The man on the wing, Robert Parrish, lays it in for 2 more. The Celtics go on to win it 123-104. In Game 2, Michael Jordan is unstoppable. An NBA record 63 points. One of his hoops there. But the Celtics again come back in the second half. Bird launching a three-pointer. The Celtics go into the lead for the first time in the second half. McHale off the deck gets 2 more. Bird at the other end. A rebound. An outlet pass to Danny Ainge. He swoops in for 2. The game is nip and tuck throughout the second half. But everywhere you turn, there's Michael Jordan scoring again and again. The Celtics answer. Dennis Johnson drives, and the Celts lead by 2. Jordan misses at the buzzer, but he's fouled. Kevin McHale can't believe it. Jordan hits the free throws. We're into overtime. This basket by Seestein brings the Celtics within 2. And then Danny Ainge drives the lane, tying the game at 125. In the second overtime, Ainge gives the Celtics a 4-point lead. But Michael Jordan comes back again. This basket gives him 63 points on the night and a tie game. The game winner, Jerry Seestein from 18 feet. Boston by 2. Parrish, a rainbow jumper. The Celtics win 135-131. A 2-games-to-none lead. Tonight, here in Chicago, Game 3.
Welcome to a Channel 20 sports presentation of Boston Celtics basketball, brought to you in cooperation with WLVI. Tonight, the Celtics head for Chicago and battle the Chicago Bulls. Tonight's game is sponsored in part by Fleet National Bank, New England's financial resource. Miller Beer, made the American way since 1855. By Delta Airlines, over 38,000 professionals serving more than 100 cities in the U.S. and overseas. Delta gets you there. By Stop and Shop Supermarkets, it's time to stop and shop. And by Speedy Muffler King. At Speedy, you're a somebody.
Live from Chicago Stadium tonight, it's the Celtics and Bulls in Game 3 of the best-of-5 series. Good evening, everyone. This is Gil Santos, along with my regular season broadcast partner, Bob Cousy. And joining us for the playoffs from the news at 10, Bill O'Connell. The Celtics lead it 2-0. They can win and wrap it up tonight. Coos, what kind of a game can we expect here?
Bill, I'll tell you, we're going to have to fasten our seatbelts. It's really going to be a wild one. I think we're going to have a very physical game. The third game, or the elimination game, potentially, of a series like this will create that, because the team that's going to be eliminated throws caution to the wind. So the Celtics came out kind of casually on Sunday. If Chicago decides to try to climb the hill one more time, we're going to need the complete, full commitment.
All right, and Bill O'Connell, I know you had a chance to talk to some of the Chicago people earlier.
That's right, Gil, and I don't think you're going to see them play the same kind of a game they had the first 2. I talked to Tex Winter, the assistant coach, and I got a definite feeling you won't see Michael Jordan go for 64. Let's roll that tape. You'll see what I mean.
Tex, obviously everybody wants to know, and maybe there's no answer for, maybe he can't answer it, but can Michael Jordan stay up where he is for a couple more games?
Well, I think the important thing as far as Michael Jordan's concerned, in fact, I visited with him a little bit about it, and as far as the Chicago Bulls are concerned, of course, is that we try to win the basketball game. I think Michael really has demonstrated that he's a one-on-one, probably as fine a basketball player as we've ever had in this country. At least one of the most creative offensive players we've ever seen. I've been coaching for 40 years, and I have never seen anyone that can do the things that can create offensive situations the way Michael can. But the important thing, it's still a team game. It's still a five-man concept as far as we're concerned with the Bulls, and Michael preaches this all the time. He'd much rather win the basketball game than to score a lot of points, I assure you.
Well, everyone was saying that they felt that at least at Sunday he got the 63 within the flow of the game, that he wasn't certainly disrupting anything.
Well, he did pretty much, Lee. He was having he was not having a sensational shooting night. I think he shot a little over 50%. He put up a lot of shots, and that's the thing about Michael. He has the ability to create so many shots. He's going to take more shots than most people, whether it's in the flow of the offense or individually, because he does have so much talent. It's a very fine line. The thing you have to do, of course, is to make certain the other people are involved in the offense, if not shooting-wise, certainly rebounding-wise and screening-wise and so forth.
Are you convinced or content with the way your team has played defensively? You seem to be holding off the Celtics inside anyway.
Yes, we feel like that defensively, that's probably been our strength against the Celtics thus far. We match up pretty well against the Celtics. I think we've proven that all year long, and that we've played them some pretty good basketball games. Defensively, we can do some things because of our quickness. I think that is relatively effective against the Celtics, about as effective as you can be against a great ball club like they are.
Okay, thank you, Tex. Gil and Bob will be back in just a moment to give you tonight's starting lineups. I'll be back at halftime again tonight on the news at 10.
This is not the grand opening of a musical extravaganza. It's the introduction of the Chicago Bulls. They turn all the lights out in this place, and then they bring the starting five out. Charles Oakley and Orlando Woolridge are both out there. The Bulls are starting Dave Corzine at center. There he is. Good outside shooter, but not a real good inside player. Orlando Woolridge has been playing just a bit below his average against the Celtics. So has Charles Oakley. Here's Kyle Macy, and now the roar will be for the fabulous Mr. Jordan. Well, Coos, you know, there really aren't a lot of things that we can add to or say about the spectacular performance of Michael Jordan in the first two games of the series.
You know, what is fresh in your mind, I suppose, has more impact. I was not only a spectator, but a participant when Elgin Baylor did his magic against us in 1962. Elgin had 61, and I remember going to Satch Sanders after the game and saying, Satch, I know he got 61. You feel badly. In my opinion, I think you did a hell of a job defensively and made Elgin work for all his points. I don't know if that can be said, but the two situations can certainly be compared. It just seems like Michael Jordan was even more spectacular. I think he stamped, with that performance on Sunday, he stamped an identity for himself, for the American sporting public, that will last him a lifetime, literally. It was that impressive.
There are officials for tonight. Bruce Alexander is the alternate. The officials are Lee Jones and Ed Rush. That's Jim McMahon, the quarterback of the Chicago Bears, the world champions, who will toss up the first ball. So the Celtics are going for a sweep, and Chicago looks to keep it alive for a fourth game on Friday night. Ainge, Johnson, McHale, Parrish, and Bird for the Celtics, and this place is an absolute madhouse. It seats 19,000. There will be more than 20,000 here when you're talking about standing room people as well. Opening tip goes out of bounds. Jones and Rush confer, and it will be Boston ball.
Boy, we start with a break. Kevin McHale knocked it out of bounds. Clearly, both officials were out of position. Obviously didn't see the play develop.
All right, the Celtics in this series, through two games, are averaging 129 points a ball game, giving up 117 to Chicago. A whistle and foul down low called by Ed Rush.
You're going to see the officials blow quickly and not let them get away with too much inside, because they're aware of the physical implications we talked about on top. They're going to want to cool the boys down in a hurry.
Opening foul goes to Charles Oakley. McHale on the baseline. He's been spectacular in this series. Kevin is shooting at a 61% clip and averaging 27 points and 12.5 rebounds so far in this series. Gives the Celtics a 2-0 lead. Kyle Macy and now Corzine, and the crowd will erupt when Jordan touches it. Now they're ready.
That's what they did in the first game. He's completely isolated on the right side.
Spectacular move. Michael Jordan ties the game at 2. This should be quite a night. Game 3, Celtics looking for a sweep.
He's going to have to make a switch pretty soon.
6 points so far for Kevin McHale. Jordan, very fancy.
Oh, wow.
He only gets 2 out of it, but degree of difficulty, maybe should have gotten 3.5. Point lead. This is their biggest of the game.
I'll tell you, he's got Corzine on McHale because he claims he's in a better position of muscle him. Fine play by Jordan. Stepped between the 2 defenders, made an off-balance job, but...
Picking up Jordan very early throughout this game. Jordan straightaway three-pointer. Three-point basket for Michael Jordan.
God, what a talented kid.
Oh, he's just a great, great player. Inbounds, Danny Ainge. Yes! Terrific play by Ainge. He caught it and shot it all in the same motion.
Talking about a talented player, there's an underrated player,
yes.
Danny Ainge. I'll tell you what.
Orlando Woolridge from downtown. 19-15. The Celtics lead is 4 points with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter here at Chicago in Game 3. If the Celtics win, of course, the series is over. Chicago wins, we'll be back for Game 4 on Friday. McHale up a nice feed from Ainge. 13 points for McHale.
Ainge was the guy left on the trap into McHale. They spun it around to him. He penetrated. That's what you've got to do. Don't settle for the jumper. Then when he drew McHale's defense back, he made the nice pass down to Kevin.
Woolridge takes it in on McHale. No, Bird comes out. Celtics are 3-on-2. Ahead to Parrish, stolen by Oakley. Outstanding play. To Woolridge at the other end. They do not score off of it. Rebound, Dennis Johnson.
Woolridge penetrates with great strength, but he never creates the best shot for himself.
Danny Ainge. 6 points for Ainge. The Celtics lead 23-15. There's Johnson picking up Jordan in the backcourt, right at the baseline. Ran into a pick by Oakley. Timeout is taken by Chicago. The wild scene so far at the stadium here in Chicago, Illinois. 23-15 Celtics with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Celtics trivia game is the perfect gift for all you diehard Celtics fans. It contains questions from the early years to the present and is fun for all. To get your game, send $16.95 to Imprimis Publications, Post Office Box 1513, Derry, New Hampshire, or call 617-935-9696. Turnovers, Celtics with 3, Chicago with 1. Parrish 4 rebounds as the top man off the boards. McHale with 13, Jordan with 9 are our top scorers. Celtics lead by 8 points. 3 minutes to go first quarter.
Celtics came out casually on Sunday, in my opinion, as opposed to the intensity they had in Thursday's game, and they paid the price in a double overtime game.
Nice job there.
They've got that intensity back, and this team is going to have a tough time trying to beat them even here under these conditions if they can sustain that intensity.
A personal foul, loose ball foul here on Charles Oakley, who was hustling up the other end after this pickup by the Celtics.
Again, Celtics trying to get that ball down floor in a hurry. Oakley's back there, but he just, knocks Ainge out of the way.
That's the 4th team foul on Chicago, and Sidney Green has come in for the Bulls, replacing Oakley. They double McHale. Ainge, 3-point shot. No. Goes to Corzine, and now to Macy and to Michael Jordan. There's Dennis Johnson waiting for him.
Not a good shot there by Danny. The defense was there. You should never take a three-pointer unless the clock's running out when the defense is in position.
Orlando Woolridge on the slam dunk, and the foul is on Larry Bird, his second personal, the third on the Celtics as a team.
Let's take a look. McHale makes the cardinal sin there. He leaves the man under the basket to trap Jordan. Let the closest man on top come over and trap. You need a quick trap on Jordan, but you can't leave Orlando Woolridge under the basket to go out there on top.
It's 23-18, the Celtics by 5. Bird getting it low to McHale. Kevin wheeling the pumpkin. No. Rebound Corzine. He fought Woolridge for it. And Chicago comes down looking to get to within 3. They double up on Jordan. Robert Parrish with a quick hands. Here comes the Chief galloping. 2. Woo! Oh, look at the speed that Robert Parrish has in the open court.
See, what they're doing, they're trapping Jordan earlier, forcing him to get rid of the ball. By doing that, they're taking the play away from him. They're causing one of the other four to make the play. That time Corzine, and he just can't do it. Sharp.
Offensive foul on Michael Jordan. And the Celtics have very effectively, I think, Kuz, defensed Michael Jordan in this first quarter. I think they've taken him completely out of his rhythm.
They're finding him sooner, and they're trapping him sooner. And as I say, that's taking the ball out of his hands. That's the important thing. They're also overplaying well. They're better than they have in the first couple of games.
Robert Parrish with it low, trying to work on Sidney Green, goes over him, and he gets a pair. Chief with a strong first quarter, 6 points and 5 rebounds here in the opening quarter for Robert Parrish. Celtics lead by 9.
Stan Albeck said in the paper today that his game plan in terms of his trap downs had been relatively successful. They had neutralized the inside game. The Celtic first team is averaging 27 points more in these 2 games than in the regular season. So I don't know how accurate that statement was.
A foul is called on Sidney Green under the basket. That is the 5th team foul in Chicago, and the Celtics will be at the line. Here it is.
Well, as Green just jumps into the pack and knocks everyone out of the way.
2 free throws for Larry Bird. This program is authorized under telecasting rights granted by the Boston Celtics solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Boston Celtics and WLVI TV is prohibited.
Bird has started slowly in all 3 of these games. Tonight, I don't know if the pinky has anything to do with it. His outside shooting didn't look quite as smooth as it has in the past, so it might be affecting him.
Those were the first 2 points of the game for Larry Bird. Celtics have an 11-point lead. Jordan on the rebound. 29-20. Ahead it comes to McHale, but it's knocked out of bounds by Orlando Woolridge.
Well, he does that too. Offensive rebounding. 6'5" kid. He jumped like he was 7'5", went over all the tall timber and got the rebound, put it back in himself.
DJ. Parrish, the offensive board, up again. 2 for the Chief.
Oh, Robert doing a job.
Parrish has had a big series on the boards as well. He's averaging 10 rebounds a game in this series.
They've beaten Chicago 100-74 on the boards, and they continue to do it here in their backyard. Again, tonight they're capitalizing on that advantage by pushing the ball up quickly, but they haven't done that.
Count the basket for Jordan. His foul is on Dennis Johnson, his first personal foul, and Jordan will be at the line to shoot 1.
Meanwhile, this kid still is doing his magic. I'll tell you what, Kyle Macy said in the paper today, do you think Michael will do better than he did on Sunday? And Kyle said, well, no, but we certainly expect him to hit his average.
Which is 56 points a game. 9 seconds left first quarter. Celtics lead by 8 points after the Jordan 3-point play. And a foul in Chicago, and Dennis Johnson will be at the line. It's on Michael Jordan, his second personal foul, and here's a look at it.
It is trying to trap the ball in the corner in the last seconds here. Michael reaches in, picks up his second.
2 free throws for DJ. Against Chicago on the season, Dennis averaged 18 points a game. In this playoff series, Dennis is averaging 20.5 points a game with 6.5 assists. 1 more free throw with 5 seconds left in the quarter. Celtics lead by 9. The noise level has been a din from well before game time. They get it up court to Orlando Woolridge. The tip in does not go. Bird the rebound. That's the end of the first quarter. After 1, at a wild and screaming Chicago stadium, it is the Celtics by 10, 33-23. And congratulations from all of us at Channel 56, the Celtics PR Director Jeff Twist and his wife Sarah on the birth of their first child, Cameron Hitchcock Twist. Best wishes from all of us here at Channel 56.
Also want to say hello to an old friend, Larry Michael, who's recuperating at Mass General at the moment. Big Celtic fan. Let's get out of there, Michael, Larry, so I can get some money from you on the golf course. He's the pro at Meadowbrook Country Club, a good one.
The Celtics for the second quarter have Seasteen and Ainge at the guards. Bill Walton has gone in at center. Bird and McHale at the forwards. For Chicago, Macy and Jordan remain the guards. Woolridge and Green are the forwards. Dave Corzine is the center. Celtics lead by 10. And a very strong offensive and defensive first quarter, I thought, for the Celtics.
Everything went their way in that quarter. They did it on the backboard. That triggered the fast break, and their defense was excellent.
Bird for the Celtics. He had only 2 points in the first quarter, but Larry Bird doesn't have to score points to be valuable.
Well, they've been so effective going inside to McHale and Parrish that they haven't needed him from outside.
Bill Walton doesn't get it to roll for him. Michael Jordan with the basketball, and now Kyle Macy for Chicago. Macy with Jerry Seestein on him. They get it off to Orlando Woolridge. Macy again. Now Corzine. Corzine, a big guy, 6'11", doesn't play inside that much. That's what he likes to do, is hit the 12-foot jumper.
But that's not bad strategy. See, putting Bird on Corzine, it looks like somewhat of a mismatch. McHale just spins right around for another layup. It looks like a mismatch, so it encourages Chicago to go to that. Obviously, you're better off going to Corzine on Bird than you are giving it to this kid.
That is 15 points in the first half for Kevin McHale. Celtics lead is cut to 8 points on that hook shot by Corzine.
Well, a few more of those and that'll take care of that theory.
Larry Bird trying to work on Woolridge. They double him up. Swing it around to the open man, Danny Ainge. Foul line. Bird. Walton. Stolen by Sidney Green.
When a game has this kind of intensity, you can't lob anything into the pivot. Bird made the mistake there, putting it up in the air too softly, and Green came right in. You got to put mustard on everything.
Orlando Woolridge cuts the Celtics lead to 6 points, 35-29. And the Celtics want a timeout. 10:08 to play here in the first half. The Celtics lead is only 6. Play until Friday, but they might as well let it all hang out tonight.
You know, it's what we said on top. You've got to throw caution to the winds. You know, I suspected that they would do this. I asked both Tim Halen and one of the coaches whether they'd consider playing him tonight, and they said, no way. And here he is in the game. But I think it's a good move. I mean, unless they're really endangering this kid. But what difference is 3 days going to make in terms of his cheekbone, it seems to me.
McHale in low again. 2 more for Kevin McHale, and he was fouled on Michael Jordan. That's his 3rd personal foul.
And Kevin did the same thing to Oldham that he's been doing on Corzine. He's catching and making the quick move because they're trapping down quickly. Watch now. See, he spins to the outside where away from any trap down pressure, and he makes the move immediately so he doesn't give the trap the opportunity to get down there.
18 points for McHale, and now Jordan has 3 personal fouls with 9:55 left in the first half, and that could be a decisive factor in this ball game. Celtics lead 38-29. Paxson is in, replacing Macy. Here's Jordan. Doubled up, gets it back outside to Sidney Green. They double him up, they triple him up, and a whistle and foul on the Celtics on Bill Walton.
See, they're even sending Walton after Jordan. That time he left Oldham, ran after Jordan, caused them to give the ball to this kid, and Sidney Green is simply not going to beat you. It's that easy. So Casey's strategy so far has been very effective. Jordan's gotten his 14, but he's been able to get the ball out of his hands enough times, giving it to one of the other 4 guys and forcing them to make the play, and they just don't have the talent to do it.
Green missing the front end of the 2-shot foul. Now, Jordan with 3 personal fouls brings up another issue, and that is that George Gervin is not here tonight. He has the flu and is not dressed, is not at the game, will not be playing. Second free throw goes for Green. So if Jordan has to sit down for any period of time, Chicago will be very thin in the backcourt in terms of scorers. Of course, Gervin hasn't scored yet in the series anyway, but he's still a threat.
Yeah, I think Galbeck will have to gut it out in this situation. He'll keep Jordan in there. I doubt seriously whether Jordan would foul out of this game.
Walton on the tip-in. Scott Wedman is in, replacing Bird. Seestein, Ainge, Walton, McHale, and Wedman for the Celtics. Banks, Green, Jordan, Paxson, and Oldham for Chicago. This is Paxson.
Doesn't matter how many spectacular guards you've got. That's what they want them to do. You know, they got Sidney Green shooting from 18, 19 feet. This game will be over at halftime. You can't beat the kind of muscle the Celtics have and are using tonight in this manner here by taking it inside consistently and smashing the offensive board. with all the 63-point individual performances in the world, no matter how spectacular they are.
All right, the foul is called in Chicago, and it'll put Kevin McHale at the free throw line. Again, Kevin right now has 18 points as he stands up there. Now Oldham comes out. Corzine is back in for the Bulls. Jordan remains in there for Chicago. McHale with 2 shots. And Kevin is looking for 20 points right now. That's 19 for Kevin McHale. In this series, he's averaging 27.5 points a game and 12.5 rebounds a game.
Now, that's what's strange. Bird averaged 26 for the season. He's averaging 33. Kevin 21, and he's averaging 27. And even Roberts averaging 16 and 18 against these guys. And they're talking about, you know, their inside defense being effective.
In low, the layup to score it by Gene Banks. 41-32. The Celtics with 8.5 minutes to play in the first half. McHale, now Seestein and Ainge. Seestein is left open from 18 feet. Rebound by Wedman. Good job. Off the offensive boards by Scott Wedman. Ainge, three-pointer. Wedman, another offensive rebound. Celtics in the right place at the right time.
Celtics much more alert. They seem to be playing a thinking man's game, and they're using their muscle as well to complement it. Seestein finally misses his first shot in 2 months, I think.
Paxson all the way down. Score the basket and he's fouled. Foul is on Kevin McHale. His second personal, the second in the Celtics as a team.
It is. Chicago's been reluctant to push it down this quickly in the first couple of games. They've fallen behind and they have no choice. They have to start running with the Celtics. In this case, they do it effectively. Paxton creates some contact and makes a nice play out of it.
Paxson makes it a three-point play. All right, Danny Ainge back for the Celtics. 41-35. Celtics on top. Wedman off the pick, no. Whistle and a foul. Foul is called on Chicago's Gene Banks. And that'll be the third team foul on the Bulls. Here it is.
It is. Banks trying to keep up with Wedman coming around that Walton pick inside. Just pushes Walton out of the way.
Inbounds goes to Parrish, and now Jerry Seestein for the Celtics. Leading by 6 points. The Celtics have led all the way so far. Parrish hanging on and waiting. Finds Seestein around the pick. Seestein fires. Does not hit. Rebound Oakley stolen by Wedman. Whistle and a foul. Foul is on Scott Wedman. Third on the Celtics as a team here in the second quarter. Here's Stan Albeck. Dennis Johnson getting set to check back in for the Celtics. 41-35. Jim Paxson for Chicago and now Dave Corzine. Or John Paxson, rather. Ainge on the steal, goes into the crowd. It's out of bounds off Danny.
They've got Corzine on top. Pretty good passing big man looking to swing that ball. But the fact that he's not a threat allows the defense to play off him and makes it a more difficult pass to make. Ainge almost had the steal on that.
Michael Jordan for Chicago.
See, there's the trap again. Much higher than they've been setting it in the first couple.
Three-point shot.
Wow.
Over the top. Gene Banks is not the guy you normally want taking three-point shots.
No, the Chicago offense not operating as smoothly. They went ball control the first couple of games. It was somewhat effective. It kept them in the ball game. Tonight, they're at home, and they feel they can run with the Celtics, and that could be the kiss of death for them.
Michael Jordan has 14 points so far here in the first half. Robert Parrish, the turnaround, doesn't get it. Ball out of bounds. McHale is out. Bird is back in. Wedman is out. So let's reset the Celtics. Johnson, Ainge, Bird, Walton, and Parrish.
I don't have anything. No.
McHale had 19 points when he sat down. DJ into the paint. Fall away. Parrish the rebound. Out of bounds. Off Robert Parrish. 6:38 left in the first half. Celtics still up by 6 points. Oakley, Corzine, Banks, Jordan, and Paxson for Chicago. Celtics' biggest lead of this game has been 11. Corzine has it stripped by Parrish, but a whistle and a foul from the backside by Bill Walton. His second and the fourth on the Celtics as a team, and Dave Corzine is at the line.
Little
Corzine's a good foul shooter.
little defensive lap here on the part of the Celtics. Walton slides off to Corzine, pick on the side for Jordan. He was going over the trap, and that released Corzine in the basket. Paxton, intelligent little guard, picked it up immediately and got the pass in.
The boos are for Bill Walton, who is talking to Ed Rush about the last call. Walton is out, and Kevin McHale is back in for the Celtics. Corzine, veteran player, 29 years old, shooting 2 of them. 8 points and 8 rebounds for Corzine so far in this game, and that's what he had in the entire double overtime game. So he's having a big night.
But he isn't having a big night defensively
no.
on the boards.
No, he's got torch marks all over him from the
when
burning.
you've got a moose of a center like him, he's got to give it to you on the boards, and as I say, on the D. What he does offensively is a bonus.
Johnson breaks a Chicago 7-0 run. Dennis Johnson's jump shot. The Bulls had run 7 in a row on the Celtics. Paxson, now Oakley on the pull-up, overshoots the target. Loose ball foul is going to be called on whom? Will it be on Chicago?
On Gene
Yes,
Banks.
it's on Gene Banks.
Came over the back. Again, the up-tempo game is producing the quick Chicago shot, and generally, not by the people that they want taking it. Oakley, Banks, Corzine, none of them can shoot that well from outside where they should be going there.
Nice. Bird waited. Johnson waited for the right moment to break to the hoop, and he just laid it in. That was the 4th team foul, by the way, in Chicago here in the first half. Celtics lead by 8, and Chicago wants a timeout. 5:42 left to play, first half. Celtics lead is back up to 8 points, 45-37. Banks, Oakley, Jordan, and Corzine for Chicago.
See, Bird doesn't have a hoop yet. They're starting to isolate him on the right side. They got a lot out of that play on Sunday because they know they're going to get the trap, and they're not making the rotation quickly enough with the bigger, slower guys in there. And as a result, they're sending the guard to the basket. DJ has just gotten a couple of layups out of the play.
Corzine makes it a 6-point Celtic lead on that basket, cutting it to 6, 45-39, 5.5 minutes left here in the first half. Celtics have led it all the way.
Yeah,
Bird, they double on him. That gives it to McHale to Parrish. Oh!
Candy. That time they brought, who did they bring over from the weak side forward, came all the way over the top. Bird. They've been doing it with the guard. So we said Johnson burned him a couple of times, so they tapped Bird with the forward. He's not scoring. I think they should go one-on-one against him for a while.
Outside Paxson hit for Chicago. By the way, Robert Parrish now has 10 points here in the first half of this ball game. The Celtics lead by 6 at 47-41.
Robert and McHale have been exceptional.
McHale is fouled by Dave Corzine. That should put Chicago over the limit. It does, and McHale will shoot 2. Woolridge checks in for Chicago, and Banks is out.
Yeah, it is. They continue to attack that matchup. It's a very vulnerable one as far as Chicago is concerned. Kevin has really turned Corzine every way but loose. He's turned him inside, outside, gone over him, gone under him. So it's there's not a great deal they can do. He tried Oldham for a moment. Evidently, he felt he wasn't ready, so he got him right out of there. But I don't know that Oldham could do a heck of a lot better on Kevin, as we've said all season long. No one's found the formula as to how to stop Kevin.
21 points in the game for McHale. 49-41 Celtics. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left first half. Jordan still with 14 points. They've slowed him down considerably here in the second quarter. They get it to Woolridge. Double pump. Hits the side of the backboard, and it's off the hands of Kevin McHale.
That's a tough matchup for Woolridge, too. As high as he jumps and as muscular and physical a player as he is, he just can't get the job done, as you can see on McHale. He tries to create the shot for himself, but he ends up taking an off-balance job.
The missed shot by Oakley. The rebound to the hands of Danny Ainge, who pushes it up for the Celtics. Finds DJ on the wing, cutting through. Basket, good. Count the hoop, and a foul is called. Michael Jordan's 4th personal foul. That is 4 on Jordan. Look at it again. Well, we were going to look at it again. Now we do.
It is B.J. kind of brushing off the
I don't know.
McHale pick. Jordan wasn't even in the play.
No.
Wasn't even in the play. You sure they called it on Jordan?
They did.
Wow. Yeah, he wasn't in the play. Well, that's the second break.
Johnson makes it a three-point play. Kyle Macy replaces Jordan for Chicago.
This is when they should even elevate their level of intensity. With Jordan on the bench, you can attack these guards and create some turnovers. We haven't done that.
Paxson from deep in the corner, 52-43. The Celtics lead is back to 9. They had it up to 11, which equals their high of the game.
That's been one of the reasons they've been so successful in the first couple of games, is staying in the games. They haven't turned the ball over, but we haven't pressured their guards. They're vulnerable, especially when Jordan's out of there.
Ainge off the pass, cross-court pass from Bird when they doubled him up. Again, the Celtics by 11. Woolridge to Corzine low, blocked by McHale, out of bounds, saved by Ainge. No, he stepped out. Ainge continues to be right among the leaders in this club in floor burns.
I'll tell you, we said on top, the Celtics couldn't be casual.
They have not been.
They were Sunday. Boy, they certainly have not been. They've had the complete intensity going, and if they continue with that, this series is going to be over tonight.
Paxson tries to drive, does a nice job.
This kid's a scorer. You can't take him lightly. You know, his strength is his outside shot, but as he just proved to you, he can also put it to the floor.
McHale, give him 23 points in the ball game in the first half for Kevin McHale.
Rozine's starting to talk to himself a little bit right about now.
Oakley takes it in the paint. Whistle and a foul. It is going to be called on Robert Parrish. The Celtics are over the limit, and that is number 3 on Parrish.
It is. They've been giving Oakley outside. This is his strength. He takes it to the basket well. He doesn't shoot well from outside. So despite the fact that Robert's giving him room, still tried to bring it in there, and that time he was successful.
Oakley at the line trying to make it a 9-point ball game. He won't do that as he misses the first one. Parrish comes out sitting down with 3 personal fouls, and Bill Walton is in for the Celtics. There's the muscular young Charles Oakley, who's going to be a great rebounder in this league. Had a marvelous rookie season. He gets 1 out of the 2. So it's a 10-point Celtics lead with 3 minutes to go in the half. Ainge hustling it up court. The Celtics want a 22nd timeout. So, with a 22nd timeout on the floor, let's pause for this.
Simple terms, you know, all sorts of explanations have been given for the result of the first 2 games, the fact they've been competitive and why and what strategy has worked. It's all just words. It's all rhetoric. You know, the media has to make up reasons. The bottom line is that the Celtics don't have to lose a game until they get to the finals if they just come out and play with this kind of intensity. They're in complete control of their destiny.
Ainge three-pointer, no. Walton the rebound. Bird looking for his first basket. That's it. First hoop of the game for Larry Bird.
Again, the offensive board producing the second opportunity for Bird.
Celtics now with their largest lead. A whistle and foul has been called, and Ed Rush is calling it on Kevin McHale. The Celtics are over the limit. That's the 3rd on Kevin. McHale and Parrish both have 3.
Out of control penetration by Paxton. You know, he's just taking it into the green shirts there. Not much chance of getting the shot off, but he does pick up the foul on McHale, his 3rd.
Paxson is shooting 2 now for Chicago. The Celtics lead 58-46. This is their biggest lead of the game. One more free throw for Paxson.
When a game seems to get out of control, you know, in terms of up and down schoolyard type of tempo, this always generally works in the favor of the Celtics, especially when they're attacking the backboard and the defense with the intensity we talked about. Because they have a better ability to control that type of flow than the opponent generally.
Celtics up by 11 points, 2.5 minutes left here in the first half. Bird is doubled up. That leaves somebody open, Walton, who is corralled by Paxson, or Macy, and Walton will be at the line.
Yeah. Walton got upset, no reason to. I think he thought he had a bigger man on his back. Macy does the smart thing, don't let the man get the shot off. We've seen our guys do that enough times. Walton spun around with his elbow, and that brought a couple of the enforcers over.
shooting 2.
Everything is going the Celtics' way at the moment, so there's no point in getting the crowd into it or developing any more hostility than already exists here.
Walton in this series is averaging 5 points and 9.5 rebounds per game. McHale comes out and Wedman is in for the Celtics. What a great first half for Kevin McHale, 23 points. Jordan has sat down. He's got 14, but he has picked up 4 personals here in the first half. Corzine on the inbounds to Macy. Celtics by 13 points, their biggest lead of the first half. Unlike the first 2 games where Chicago took the lead in the first half, the Celtics have swooped out to a lead in this one and have never looked back. Corzine outside, no. Rebound, Woolridge. Macy now inside to Corzine. Tipped up, no. Tipped up, yes. Sidney Green tips it in.
That's what Green can do, and about the only thing he's done in this series so far is you must keep him off the offensive board. He is a leaper, and unless you give him body pressure, he's going to do some damage.
Bird is knocked out of bounds by Woolridge. And the foul is on Orlando Woolridge. Larry Bird will be at the line to shoot 2.
It is. Bird spinning away from Woolridge. Lee Jones, unfortunately, is in our way, but you see the last little bump there where Woolridge, you know, Bird's had an excellent, someone said today, a quiet series. Of course,
averaging 33 points a game.
Yeah, everything has been understated in terms of Jordan's spectacular performance. But Bird, yeah, as you say, is averaging 33. But with that said, Woolridge, I think, has done a pretty good job in at least minimizing his attempts with his overplay D. He's got strength, he's got good speed and quickness to go with that strength. He's been able to overplay Bird and keep it out of his hands at least more than most defenders are able to do.
Paxson has it stolen by Wedman. Gets it ahead for Larry Bird. Bird is averaging 33 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists per game in this series. Celtics lead by 13 with 1.5 minutes to go in the first half. DJ to Bird. Now they don't double team him, so he pops from outside. That's the beauty of Larry Bird. When they double team him, he'll pass it off and find the open man for the easy shots. When they leave him alone, he'll bury it.
See, they've been clearing that weak side on that double team, so it allows the guard that's left alone to simply take a cut to the basket, and Bird's been finding him. Sidney Green.
64-51. Chicago cuts it back to 13. Walton has it now. Corzine on him.
Every time a Sidney Green makes an outside shot, that helps your offense.
Yeah, because he'll try it again.
That encourages him to do it again.
On the way to the hoop, it's blocked. Green, however, was fouled. And the foul is called on Larry Bird, his 3rd personal foul. So Bird, McHale, and Parrish all have 3, and Jordan has 4.
Boy, that's a bad call there. Green just gets to Bird, who's got the position established, and jumps smack into him. No attempt to avoid the contact, and they called a block rather than a charge. They've been actually doing a pretty good job under somewhat difficult circumstances, you might imagine, the officials tonight. But I think I would disagree with that call.
One more free throw for Sidney Green. Misses it. Walton the rebound. Bird outside. 2 more. Larry starting to heat it up. 10 points in the game for Larry Bird. Celtics by 14. 66-52.
Simply too many guns. McHale does a number inside. He goes to the bench. Bird starts to open up. We saw Johnson and Ainge take turns in the first couple of games in the second half, scoring 24 points and opening up the game. It's got to be discouraging for an opponent. Just too many guns in the arsenal.
Down to 14 seconds to play in the first half. The Celtics' biggest lead of this half has been 15. They jumped out to an 8-2 lead after the first 2 minutes, and it's been a Celtics game ever since. Blocked by Walton. Here comes Wedman with a second to go, and that is the end of the first half. After 1. Here in Chicago, the scores. The Celtics, 66. Chicago, 52. Let's take a break.
For, well, I don't know, John. How many years is it now?
107.
I thought we're 104 or 5, right around there. Johnny, what did you think of the first half? To go about the way you expected?
Yeah, well, the way I hoped, anyhow. But I think that there are adjustments that have to be made on both sides, and in Boston's case, what they were doing, the way they adjusted to Jordan is they jumped out on him on a double team very suddenly. They didn't come right out on him and give him a chance to think of what he wanted to do. But with maybe 12, 14, 15 seconds on the clock already elapsed, they suddenly would jump a big guy out on him. Either Bird or Walton or Parrish or McHale. They jump out on him very suddenly and make him do something else. And frequently his passing was a little bit shoddy, and they were able to capitalize on that. They picked the ball off a number of times.
John, do you expect Bird to get more involved in the offense in the second half? Does he have to?
Yeah, they've been holding him a lot. They've been double-teaming him right away. I mean, he draws a double team all the time, and what he's tried to do is find a cutter, and he did find DJ a couple of times. But now what I think they're doing is they're popping him out off a pick, and I think you'll see a little bit more of that.
Well, they're up by 14 right now, 66-52. John, we have a couple of partial scores, and there's a Detroit-Atlanta game. I think that's a little bit of a surprise right now, don't you think so, Dylan? We've got Detroit leading Atlanta 64-49 in the second.
Well, you know, New Jersey is ahead of Milwaukee, but, you know, where are they playing that one?
That should be in Milwaukee, I believe.
Well, Detroit and Atlanta, it's not that much of a surprise because Detroit is a very tough club to beat in Detroit.
Yeah. I hope we didn't get back here again Friday night, John. Thank you. Okay. Johnny Most, the voice of the Boston Celtics on radio for many years. I'm Bill O'Connell. Gil and Cruz will be back right after this.
Tonight's halftime guest will receive a gift certificate from Mr. Sid of Newton.
Stadium at halftime, the Celtics lead by 14 points, 66-52. The Celtics led by 10 at the end of the first quarter, 33-23. Scored Chicago 33-29 in the second quarter for a 14-point lead. Two big stories in the first half individually. Kevin McHale has just been torching Dave Corzine in the first half. Kevin has 23 points in the ball game. On the other side, the big story, Michael Jordan has been held, if you will, to 14 points in the first half, and he has picked up 4 personal fouls. He sat out the last 5 minutes of the first half. The rest of the individual scoring very well balanced for the Celtics after McHale's 23. Dennis Johnson has 11. Robert Parrish and Larry Bird have 10 each. Danny Ainge has 8. Bill Walton has 4. For Chicago, after Jordan's 14, Dave Corzine has 12, and John Paxson has 10 in the ball game. The statistical story, the Celtics are smoking hot, 26 of 45 for 58%. Chicago 21 of 50 for 42%. Boston 14 out of 15 at the foul line. Chicago just 9 of 14. And there you see the rebounding edge, a 1 rebound edge for Boston in the first half, but it just seemed as though they had a lot more than that 1 rebound edge. Turnovers are pretty even, 5 on each club. The Celtics have played a very strong all-around first half. They came out with tremendous intensity on both the offensive and defensive ends. They immediately double-teamed Michael Jordan all over the floor. Dennis Johnson picked him up, all over the floor. And as soon as he got the thing within 20 feet of the hoop, the Celtics came out and double-teamed on him, and it has been very effective. It's knocked him off his rhythm. It's halftime in Chicago. The Celtics in Game 3. Could be the last one. Lead it by 14.
Case, 14 points and 4 fouls on Michael Jordan. You've got to be pleased with that first half of action. Also, it appeared you were trapping Michael earlier, forcing him to get rid of the ball. Is that so?
Yeah, what we wanted to do was trap him wherever he was so that he could not get started and get the crowd going and get those big points as he did the past 2 ball games. So we wanted to trap him, make him give it up, and then try to deny him getting the ball back.
And force the other guys to beat you.
No question about that, yeah, but we didn't want Paxson driving to the basket and getting those easy layups. Also, starting this half here, we'd like to get 1 more foul on Jordan so we can get him out of the ball game because he can explode at any time.
Tell you, another half like that, and we can kiss goodbye to Chicago. Go get him, Coach. Let's go back to Gil.
All righty, the Celtics are up by 14. It's 66-52 here at halftime. Both clubs back out warming up. We're only about 20 seconds away from the start of the second half of this one. The personal foul situation could become troublesome. 3 for Larry Bird, 3 for Kevin McHale, 3 for Robert Parrish, and for Chicago, Michael Jordan with 4 is the one person in real foul trouble in the ball game. But the three Celtics front court men all with 3, and that could be a problem later on in this basketball game. The Celtics took control of it early on, jumped out to an 8-2 lead. 2 minutes had gone by. The closest Chicago got after that was to within 3 at one time. But they've been no closer than 3 points since the Celtics first went up at 6-2 for that first 4-point lead. So that's pretty much been the story of the first half. The Celtics very much in control of things at this point in the ball game. And Kuz, I would have to say, as you look at the Chicago scoring in the first half, that the main reason for the Celtics' overall offensive excellence has been the tremendous intensity they put into the defensive end of this game. They've been in the passing lanes, they've been double teaming, they've been doing all the things that they must do in order to win a big game.
I think it's their best 24 minutes of basketball in this series so far. The intensity level was completely sustained, as you said. What enabled them to do was completely dominate both backboards. I haven't seen the stats, but I'm sure it's somewhat overwhelming in our favor. And it also triggered the fast break, so we got an up-tempo game for the first time. This also works to our advantage.
All right, Jordan starting the second half for Chicago. They go low to Corzine, who had a good first half. He misses the first shot, and Bird gets the rebound. Funny thing, I thought they had totally dominated the boards as well, and the official stats show them ahead by only 1. That may be a little hometown counting, I think.
Wow. That's not the way it looked. They've also been able to direct the offense to people that, they want to shoot the ball, as opposed to people they don't want, like Jordan and Woolridge.
Interesting there, Dennis Johnson taking the first shot of the second half for the Celtics. With Jordan with 4 personals, he's the one guarding DJ. They double him up again. I would suspect the Celtics are going to try to get the ball into Dennis Johnson's hands a bit here in the second half to see if they can pick up that 5th foul on Jordan early.
That quick trap on Jordan also, as I say, a little departure for Casey. He had been trapping, but a little lower down on the floor. They're trapping early, and it's not allowing Jordan to get started.
McHale, 25 points in the ball game. I tell you, he is just burning Corzine in this basketball game. Kevin has had a great series so far, and tonight is on fire with 25 points. Corzine from outside. That's his shot.
They've also done that, Gil. They've been much more patient and consistent in terms of going into that vulnerability on Chicago, inside to Parrish and McHale specifically.
Boston by 14. Bird off the pick. Open shot. No. Rebound. 2 Chicago Bulls are there. Michael Jordan comes away with it. Jordan with a NBA record 63 points in Game 2 gets his first basket of the second half.
They got a little lazy that time. They didn't find him early. They didn't pick him up. They didn't collapse behind, and that's all Jordan needs to take advantage of it.
Parrish backing in on Oakley. Does not get the hoop. Rebound to Orlando Woolridge. Chicago within 12. We play 2 minutes in this third quarter. Corzine for the Bulls. Now Macy, and here's Michael. Foul on Dennis Johnson. Michael Jordan at the line to shoot 2.
Had DJ off balance that time. Again, a little late finding Michael. You got to find him coming over half. Caught Dennis moving in, so he just walked by him, and now he had him lunging. It was a good fake, and he just stepped in under Dennis, picked up his...
That's the first one on DJ, or the second one.
Second one, I think.
Second on Dennis Johnson. The first in the Celtics as a team here in the third. Jordan getting his first free throw to go. Does not get the second one. McHale gets the bound. Very few second shot opportunities in the first half for Chicago. 9:45 left in the third. Celtics leading it by 11 points at 70-59. DJ on the baseline. McHale. Now the open man, Ainge. Bang. 10 points for Ainge. Danny continues to be, I think, as you mentioned earlier, Kuz, and I agree with you 100%, a very unsung player on this team.
Well, the fans perceive Danny to be an offensive player. In other words, if he doesn't put points on the board, they assume he's had a bad day. It has nothing to do with it. Obviously, he's an excellent scorer, but with his quickness and ability to play defense, push the ball up floor, he contributes in so many other areas.
Personal foul on Robert Parrish. That's his 4th of the game.
It looks like Oakley moves him out of the play, and they call it on Robert.
Robert Parrish now has 4 personal fouls. They go low to Jordan, but it's intercepted by Dennis Johnson.
And again, good ball pressure by Ainge.
Three-pointer.
Three-pointer. That should be a six-pointer. God, that was about 32 feet.
Corzine. And Chicago's within 11 again at 72-61.
Things can change, however, at the moment. Fine pass by Dennis. Bird just slides off that pick into the middle. He usually goes outside, so it catches the defense by surprise. Still takes a good pass, however.
Jordan, one-man gang, trying to kick it off. It goes outside to Macy. Ball hits the top. Corzine has the rebound. Slapped away. Now Macy fires. Does not hit. Rebound to Dennis Johnson. Ahead to the Chief. Fouled by Charles Oakley. He and Oakley go careening out of bounds.
Good defensive play by Oakley there. He ran right by Corzine. Robert had Corzine beaten, but he couldn't beat the young legs. There you see Corzine gives up on the play. Oakley comes in and slashes, but gets the ball. Good play.
All right, it'll be put in play. I thought it was a shooting foul, or about to be one, but they didn't call it that way. Parrish comes out. Walton checks in. Robert has 4 fouls. DJ to McHale left open. Rebound Walton. What a great offensive rebound by Walton. He anticipated that perfectly.
Corzine simply doesn't have the foot speed to stay alert and stay in the plays.
The bank shot misses by Bill Walton. The rebound to Dave Corzine. Celtics by 13. Jordan on the run. Rebound McHale. Ahead of the pack to Larry Bird. He overshot the mark.
McHale is upset. You know he gave him too much of a lead. Bird had a good 2 or 3 steps on the field at half court, too. He had plenty of court to lead him with, but put a little too much mustard on it. Oakley
getting it to Woolridge on the fall away. Air ball. It comes out to Danny Ainge off Bill Walton. Ainge is fouled by Macy on the way through. 2-shot foul and a breakaway foul, I believe, has been called on Kyle Macy. If so, that's 2 shots and the ball.
You got to make a play for the ball. Evidently, they feel Macy, well, he's going after the ball. That's why Macy's upset. But they are, I think, calling the breakaway. Yeah, they are.
It is a breakaway foul, so it's 2 shots for Ainge and the ball for the Celtics. 3rd foul on Macy, the first on the Bulls as a team.
The Chicago offense, by the way, is self-destructing. They're really, now they've gotten away from Jordan, going to Jordan. The early trap has been successful in accomplishing that, and now the other 4 are trying to take over the offense, and, you know, they've leaned on Jordan too much in the first 2 games. They're not prepared to take some of the offense back.
Celtics now back up by 15 points. Chicago had cut it to 11. Bird trying to back in on Woolridge. Finds McHale cutting for 2. What a great pass by Larry Bird. Biggest lead of the game for the Celtics. 17 points with 7 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. 78-61. The Bulls throw it away. Right now, the Celtics are in the process of methodically carving Chicago to bits. Timeout on the floor. 6:59 left, 3rd quarter. Celtics are up by 17 biggies. Back here at Chicago Stadium, right now the Celtics have taken control by 17 points, 78-61, their biggest lead of the ball game. And Kuz, unless Chicago and Michael Jordan have some miracles that we haven't seen yet, this series and this game could be history right now. I think it'll depend on the next 5 minutes. What do you think?
Don't make Mother Nature mad, right? It seems they got the Celtics' attention, a lot of newspaper talk and other things. In any event, they've come out with the proper intensity, and as we said earlier on, if they do that, for instance, throughout the remainder of the playoffs till the finals, they won't lose another game because they've got that kind of strength. Walton
from outside, and the lead is 19 points with 6:42 left to play in the 3rd quarter. I think if Chicago is to make a run at this thing, Kuz, it's going to have to happen in the next 5 minutes or so. Because by the time we get to the 4th quarter, this thing could be so far out of reach, it'll be history. Ball out of bounds off the Celtics.
See, they're maintaining much better ball pressure on whoever's trying to get the ball to Jordan, and that's helping too. It's making it more difficult to get it to him at all with the DJ overplay.
Corzine kicking it off. Now Macy outside, and a traveling violation in the Bulls. And Kuz, they're Their offense right now can be called
non-existent.
Generally milling around.
Celtic pressure defense has taken them right out of it, and now they've been overplaying Jordan and been successful with that. Lately, they've got just complete confusion on the part of the Chicago offense.
19-point Boston lead. 6 minutes to go. Bird has Woolridge one-on-one. Turnaround, fall away, no. Here comes Michael Jordan. Jordan in this ball game has been held to 17 points. And it just hasn't been flowing for Michael. Yeah, they're just following him everywhere.
Forcing him to give the ball away.
Traveling.
That's putting additional pressure on the other four guys. That's what Tex Winter was talking about on top when he seemed to reluctant to give Michael Jordan complete credit for that 63 in terms of, a team effort, because he knew that the rest of the team had not been in it. It was an outstanding individual performance, but as we said on top, 2 guys don't beat 5 guys, and they're paying the price for it tonight.
Larry Bird. Celtics up by 19. 5.5 minutes left, third quarter. Bird backing Woolridge in. Goes over him. He is fouled by Orlando Woolridge, and Larry Bird will be at the line to shoot 2. That is the second team foul in Chicago and the third personal on Woolridge as we take another peek at it.
Yeah, it is. They just isolated Bird on the right side and let him work on Woolridge. Woolridge is upset with the call, but at this point, officials have absolutely nothing to do with it. See, they brought the 3 big guys out. Now Walton comes into it, but they're giving him that whole side of the floor to work on.
Larry missing the front end of the 2-shot foul. He'll get 1 more. On the season, Larry averaged 25.8 points per ball game. Against Chicago, he averaged 24 points a game over the regular season. And in this playoff series so far, Larry's averaging 33 points a game. Tonight, Bird has 13 points. McHale is the big gun this evening with 27.
See, they're letting Jordan bring the ball up floor this half to get it into his hands immediately. Normally you don't want to do that because it tires the man out if he's got to fight the pressure to get it over half court, but they've been successful in keeping it away from Gordon once they get in front court, so now they're making him bring it up here in this half.
Ainge is open, buries it. Danny Ainge sticks another big hoop for the Celtics, and they lead by 22 points with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, 83-61. Celtics have increased the lead so far at every stop. 10 at the first quarter, 14 at the half. Johnson slaps it away. It comes out to DJ. He's got Bird on the wing. Blocked, but a foul. Celtics defense is just superb. They're playing the passing lanes. They're double teaming. They're doing everything right. Here it comes again.
DJ slaps it away from Jordan, brings it down floor, a little shovel pass to Bird. Paxton gets him from behind. Celtics continue in complete control, and Chicago in complete disarray.
On the floor for the Celtics, Ainge, Johnson, Bird, Walton. Larry hits the first one, and Kevin McHale. For Chicago, Jordan, Paxson, Jawan Oldham is checked in with Orlando Woolridge and Sidney Green. Celtics now by 24. This is their biggest lead. They've outscored the Bulls 19-9 in this quarter. Chicago with just 9 points in 7.5 minutes of play in the third quarter. Jordan had that in a couple of minutes on Sunday. Paxson can't hang on to it. They throw it away again. Chicago has now turned the ball over 11 times, 6 times in this quarter.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things the Celtics had to do is extend the pressure, make it a little more aggressive to create those turnovers. They'd been allowing Chicago to control the tempo of the game in the first couple. They figure at home they didn't have to work that hard to get the 2 wins. Bird on a little fall away.
And a nice feed from McHale as well. And a timeout taken by Chicago. The Celtics lead. Well, Kuz, we'll get to your point when we come back. It's now 26 points with 4:12 to play in the third quarter. All right, this is Michael Jordan for Chicago. The Celtics are up by 26. Jordan does not hit. Walton has the rebound.
They're collapsing.
Kuz, the point you were trying to make before.
They're collapsing underneath on Jordan much quicker as well as that trap, so that's been more effective in terms of containing the young superstar. No, I was smiling because the Chicago coaching staff today talked about they match well inside on the Celtics and they have better quickness. And when I read that, I said, either they're looking at the wrong teams or the wrong scouting reports or whatever, because to minimize the Celtics' quickness is a mistake.
Walton with a block on Chicago's Jawan Oldham. Ahead to Ainge, stolen by Michael Jordan. Jordan on the baseline. Double pump. It's blocked again. Celtics just doing a tune defensively. DJ, no. Rebound, Jordan. 26-point Boston lead, their biggest of the game. Right now they're on a 9-0 run, but we have a foul to be called on the Celtics on Larry Bird. That's his fourth personal foul.
They have completely destroyed any offensive continuity that Chicago has had in this series. It is complete, utter schoolyard basketball at the moment as far as Chicago, and the only thing they can hope for is, you know, that Michael Jordan, their miracle man, develops some sort of extremely hot hand, which might cut this down a little bit, but it's hard to see how the Celtics can be threatened at all at this point.
I think he'd have to be shooting them two at a time. Pistons lead the Hawks 74-63, third quarter of that game. If the Celtics win tonight, they will play the winner of the Detroit-Atlanta series, which right now is a 2-0 lead for Atlanta. 22nd timeout on the court. With that, let's pause for this. The shots that are going in those first two games are going to start to drop just out of law of averages. But he has dropped off even more, I think, than we had anticipated.
Despite the 49 in the first, the Celtics did not really focus on him in the second game either. You know, because despite the fact they said they did. Tonight, they upped their entire level of intensity. They picked them up quicker. They tapped them quicker. They collapsed behind quicker. And given also the collapse of the rest of the Chicago offense, now even Michael is not playing up to his potential.
Bird misses on a three-point shot. Jawan Olden the rebound. The steal by Danny Ainge. Gets it to Walton for two. Make the lead 27 points and counting.
Walton puts those quick openers away underneath about as quickly as any center in the league. No wasted motion.
Banks on the basket for Chicago makes it an 89-64 ball game, but we have only 2:27 to play here.
Chicago in a 1-3-1 half-court trap posture, by the way. Ainge walks but gets away with it, but the crowd picks it up. The officials didn't.
Ainge has Sidney Green on him, so Danny pops from about 21 feet and buries it. 91-64. Celtics have, let's see now, 16 points from Danny Ainge in this one. Jordan getting it off to Sidney Green, who cuts through. Blocked by Walton. Foul on Boston. Green will be at the line. Foul is on Bill Walton. Third personal on Walton. Fourth on the Celtics as a team. You look at it again.
It is. Green blows by Bird, runs into Big Bill, who's upset with the call, but it was a good one. As we said earlier, the officials, for the most part, have done an excellent job in this game. They started to blow early inside, tried to clean it up a little bit and let the boys know that they weren't going to allow this to get out of hand, and I think it's had the necessary effect. Green, not a good free throw shooter, only about a 66% shooter during the season.
He gets one out of the two. It is 91-65 with a minute and 50 seconds left in the third quarter. The Celtics are cruising. DJ outside. And now Bird as the Celtics spread it out a bit. McHale on the baseline. DJ straight away. Ainge into Walton. Two more.
See, they have no choice than to extend the pressure and go into that trapping 1-3-1. But it's too late for that. They had to do it earlier because the Celtics know at this point they've got the game won. So now they're going to toy with that extended defense.
And we have a whistle, an illegal defense warning against the Celtics. It is the first one, so that's a warning. It's called on Danny Ainge. Banks to put it in play for Chicago, does to Orlando Woolridge. And it's 93-67. Take a look at the Celtics scoring, show you how things have evened out here. McHale with 27 is still the big guy, but Bird has 17. Ainge has 16. Johnson has 13. Parrish has 10. Walton has 10. 6 Celtics in double figures. Ainge on the way through is picked up by Gene Banks. And a foul on Chicago. Ainge will be shooting 2. The foul on Banks is his third.
Chicago having difficulty. They went back to this time, and they had difficulty adjusting to their individual defensive assignments. As we told you, they were in a 1-3-1 the last two times. So Celtics took advantage of the confusion.
The lead is now at its high point, 28. 53 seconds left. Walton on the steal. It goes to Dennis Johnson. Breaking in for a bunny. 30-point lead. Say goodnight. 45 seconds left in the third quarter. Jordan off the green for the stop.
Too little, too late, I'm afraid.
1:35 seconds left to play third quarter. The Celtics have increased their lead from a halftime bulge of 14 to a lead right now of 28 points. The high water mark was 30. McHale is fouled as he goes up for the shot. Sidney Green committing the foul, and Kevin McHale at the line to shoot a couple for the Celtics.
I think that's about the 16th man they've tried on McHale, all with the same degree of success or lack of it.
Tell you, Kevin is... these guys have scorch marks all over their jerseys from the job he's doing on them tonight. I mean, he is burning them something fierce. And he did, the bulk of his scoring came in the first half when the Celtics immediately seized control of the game. It was 8-2 Boston, and McHale had scored 6 of the first 8.
Well, the Celtics knew that they were vulnerable at that matchup, and they went to it, you know, from time to time in the first 2 games. They didn't really concentrate on it. Tonight, they stayed with it throughout most of the first half, and the results were predictable.
Paxson takes it into the traffic, and the ball is slapped away, and a foul is called on Bill Walton. McHale, by the way, now has 29 points, and Kevin's playoff career high in the playoffs is 32.
It is just an individual move on part of Paxton. Walton gives him a little bump with his chest, picks up his third.
6 seconds left to play in the third quarter. 2 free throws coming for John Paxson. Averaged 5 points a game against the Celtics in the regular season. Excellent foul shooter.
Got to be a satisfying way to end the series for the Celtics after listening to a lot of rhetoric or reading a lot of rhetoric in the Chicago papers today. A lot of quotes from different people.
Coach Ainge gets it ahead to Dennis Johnson. That is the end of the third quarter. The Celtics have stretched the lead out to a whopping 28 points after 3. It is the Celtics 99, Chicago 71. There's score of the other ball game that we're particularly interested in. The Pistons 96, the Hawks 80. The winner of that series will meet the Celtics in the next series unless Chicago makes an incredible fourth quarter comeback, because right now the Celtics lead 99-71 as we start the fourth quarter. The Celtics have scored 33 points in each of the first 3 quarters of this game. Walton working on Woolridge, loses it out of bounds. It is off Orlando Woolridge. Celtics outscored Chicago 33-23 in the first, 33-29 in the second, 33-19 in the third quarter. Walton with a hook. No. Rebound Corzine.
And I'm not sure it'll be any different in this quarter, because obviously as both teams go to their benches, the Celtics have an advantage here as well.
Jordan has it slapped away by Ainge. Danny goes to the deck for it. It is out of bounds off Danny Ainge. Chicago ball.
Jordan showing some small signs of fatigue as well. Now, DJ got a hand on it and slapped it away from him a while ago for the first time in this series, I think, and Danny slapped it away from him that time. That means that you're dribbling a little high. The defense is getting to it, which means that you're starting to tire a bit. You're not as low to the ground.
Jordan trying to kick it off to Corzine. Chicago can't hold on to it. It's going to be Chicago ball anyway.
Celtics
slapping away at it. Celtics defensive intensity hasn't turned down at all.
I was just going to say they haven't let down at all despite the lead.
Foul on Ainge, fouling Corzine down low. And Dave Corzine will be at the line to shoot a couple for Chicago. First on Danny in the game. First on the Celtics as a team in the fourth.
There it is. Danny somehow gets matched up with Corzine underneath. I don't know how that happened. It must have been a weak side pick because Walton was outside. In any event, as we pointed out in the third quarter, when Paxton got one of our guys, why Danny just grabbed Corzine, made sure he couldn't get the shot off.
Corzine makes it a 99-73 ball game. This crowd of 20,000 plus here in Chicago has not really had a chance to get themselves too much involved in this game, as the Celtics took the early lead and have never looked back. Celtics have never trailed in this game. They've led it wire to wire. Banks loses out of bounds on the bounce pass from Jordan. Now, Michael Jordan, at this point, has scored just 17 points in this ball game, and
Michael has come back to earth in this game. Of course, it was obvious he couldn't sustain the spectacular level that he displayed in the first two games, but both the letdown and the intensified effort by the Celtics that produced I guess just a great player instead of a super great player.
Now, Parrish checks in replacing Walton. The foul was on Corzine, his second. I was going to say, Jordan has scored just 17 points in this ball game, but the show that he put on Sunday at the Garden and last Thursday are shows I think that the folks who were able to see them will never forget. Foul in Chicago, and McHale will be at the line.
Yeah, you didn't have to be a basketball purist to enjoy that individual display that he put on Sunday. It was just magnificent. If you had an interest in sports and competition, just seeing people go against each other, it was real sheer artistry.
One more free throw for Kevin McHale. He now has 31 points now as he hits that free throw. 31 in the game for McHale, one away from his career playoff high. Jordan on the miss, McHale on the outlet rebound to Danny Ainge. Kevin had that ball going to Ainge even as he was picking it off the glass. I've seen the Celtics high for games before, and I've seen them play with intensity before, but
they generally will always
this one is really something.
Produce more intensity away from home than at home, and that's what they've done tonight.
The tip in by Gene Banks. Well, that's what Bird was telling the folks on local television. McHale has twisted his ankle, and he is coming out of the ball game as the Celtics grab a timeout. With a 20-second timeout on the court, let's pause for this. Well, before we came out here to the Chicago Stadium for tonight's game, I was watching one of the local television news channels, and someone was interviewing Bird live here. And because they've got like a 4:30 news or some crazy thing out here. And one of the guys asked him, hey, this is going to be a very noisy place, you know, tonight with 20,000 people. You've never heard anything like it. There's the final. Milwaukee has eliminated New Jersey in 3 straight, 118-113, so say sayonara to New Jersey. Anyway, there's the fourth quarter score with Philly leading Washington. And Bird said, well, we've heard it everywhere you can hear it. Parrish on the reverse layup said, we've heard it in Philly, we've heard it in Los Angeles, said we like it. The noisier it gets, the better we like it. He said, most teams don't like that. How come you guys like it? He said, I don't know, we just play better.
Well,
and then the anchor said, well, you know, he hasn't heard noise like he'll hear it tonight, but it really hasn't made any difference. 4-man fast break, 4-on-2. Look at this, ice cream. Oh, that should be an intentional foul.
I think the combination of responding to the hostility of a sold-out house on the road like this, I think that gets their attention. Here it is. They strip Banks and a little 2-on-2. Paxton again making sure Danny doesn't get the shot off. And that's the thing to do on that play. But they respond to the hostility of a sold-out arena on the road, and there also is that little bit of apprehension that you don't have at home. At home, you're not driven by that fear that, you know, you've got to play as well as you can to win the game. They know with the strength they've got that they don't need their best effort or their highest intensity level to come out with a W, as they proved on Sunday. Granted, it took them 2 overtimes to prove it, but they didn't give anywhere near the total effort that they did tonight in terms of aggressive play. Where on the road, they know they need it. It's really that simple.
Celtics leading at 105-77. McHale has gone out and Wedman has checked in. If Kevin does not come back, he'll end up with 31 and be a point shy of his tying his career playoff high. Parrish turns around while Corzine is arguing with the official. Robert takes a jump shot but doesn't hit it. Corzine was complaining to Lee Jones about something, so Robert said, well, if you don't want to pay attention, I'll take a shot.
I'll tell you.
First basket for Michael Jordan in a long time.
Don't complain to the officials, you know, when you've just been hammered on at home and you're 20 or 30 points down. That's not the time to do it.
Parrish and Corzine are tied up by a jump ball. Ainge in this ball game, by the way, has had 20 points, and he is the second high scorer for the Celtics, right behind McHale's 31. Parrish and Corzine on a jump. 8:47 to go in the game. Celtics leading by 26 points. Paxson comes out of the pack with it, but the Celtics get back on defense. He slides through and lays it in. Nice job by Jim Paxson.
15 points for Paxton. He's played well, that kid.
He's played well in this series.
Gervin being out tonight, of course, has given him an opportunity. I think we'd have seen a lot of Gervin the way this game is going Wedman from out, because obviously Gervin can fill the hole up if one of these running in gun.
Yeah, Gervin, as we mentioned earlier, out of the game because of the flu, and he did not score a point in the playoffs against the Celtics. Corzine lays it in. Wonder when the last time was that George Gervin, the great Iceman, the great shooter, played in a playoff series and did not score a point for the entire series. He was scoreless in the first 2 games and did not dress tonight.
Tougher for a aging superstar to get it done in the playoffs and in a slow down tempo, you know.
Yeah.
Easier in an up tempo like this because opportunities open up. But in a controlled tempo, when your physical skills start to erode, it's much, much more difficult for you to get it done in playoff pressure.
Harris trying to work low. He is called for sliding the pivot foot, traveling. Walton and Dennis Johnson will come in for the Celtics. Larry Bird and Danny Ainge will come out. And Corzine goes out of the Chicago lineup. All right, let's reset both clubs for you. Seasteen, Johnson, Walton, Wedman, and Parrish for the Celtics. Jordan, Paxson, Oakley, Banks, and Woolridge for Chicago. Banks trying to back it in. Seasteen on the steal. Goes to the deck board, and it goes to Dennis Johnson.
Celtics continue to help out beautifully. These things sneaks down from on top and just slips Banks, who was trying to do a number on Walton inside. So no diminishment in their intensity level despite the 26 or so points they've got.
Jordan trying to come up with a steal. The ball is slapped away. Johnson tipped it, and Jordan picks it up. Michael Jordan, open court, whips it low. Oakley lays it in. Chicago has cut the lead to 22 with 7 minutes to go, and the Celtics want a timeout. Timeout on the floor with a score. The Celtics 107, Chicago 85. The official attendance in this game, 18,968. That's a complete sellout, but they've got more than that in standing room as well. Celtics are just 2 for 8 in this quarter. Chicago 6 for 10, as they have made a little run, cutting the once Celtics 30-point lead down to 22. But a foul is called here on Michael Jordan, a technical foul as well.
Well, that's too bad because, you know, again, given what this youngster has accomplished in this series, let's take a look at the play first. Wedman's going to move in here instead of Pick. Let's see if Wedman moves. Well, point is, Michael is saying that he did move, and that's why they call the technical. But once again, when you're 22 points down at home in front of 19,000 partisan fans, you just can't blame the officials for it, you know. But hey, it's frustrating, and they're the easiest guys to pick on. So it happens.
Celtics lead by 23 points, 108-85 on the free throw. Walton getting it to Seasteen. Seasteen fires up a 20-footer. No. Rebound. Michael Jordan. He comes back up court for Chicago with 6:20 to go. Banks all the way. So the Bulls are putting on a mini spurt to make the score a little more respectable. But the Celtics remain well in command.
Clock obviously working against Chicago.
Walton with it now. He's got Woolridge on him after the up fake. He just went right around him, then Woolridge knocked it out of bounds. That'll be put in play on the sideline by the Celtics. 6:02 to play in the basketball game. Celtics have led at all the stops. 33-23 first quarter, 66-52 at the half, 99-71 after 3 quarters. It has been their game from the get-go. Walton, what a sweep move. Couldn't hit it, however. Parrish gets the rebound. The Chief wheels, fires, no. Rebound, Wedman. Foul on Scott Wedman.
Good strong play by Scott Wedman coming in from the weak side there. He had control of it momentarily, but he wiped a few bodies out in the process.
They double up Jordan again. He gets it cross court to Woolridge. He careens in and is fouled by Bill Walton.
Celtics have done that so well tonight. I think that's been the key, certainly as far as stopping 5, by the way.
That's 5 on Walton.
On Walton. That's been the key, certainly as far as Jordan's output tonight, and keeping him down to normal numbers is that quick pickup that Casey put in. where they just found him earlier and forced him to get rid of the ball and cause someone else to simply make the play. And, you know, with the knowledge that they don't really have anyone else other than Woolridge, and even he's a little shaky at times.
Celtics have made some substitutions now as Ainge, Bird, and McHale have all come back in. So Johnson and Ainge are the guards, McHale and Bird are the forwards, Parrish is the center. The starting five out there for the Celtics as Chicago gets the Boston lead down under 20 points for the first time since early in the third quarter. It's a 19-point lead right now. Johnson being pressured by Michael Jordan, and a whistle and a foul on Jordan, and he will foul out of the game. That is it for Michael Jordan. He has fouled out. He should get a tremendous ovation for what he's done in the series, and he is. A standing ovation for Michael Jordan. Now tonight, he was held to 19 points. He had 10 rebounds and 9 assists. The standing ovation is for what he did in the first two games, and it's well-deserved, Goose.
No, it certainly is. You know, the young man isn't much more. He missed 64 games this year, so he's not much more than a rookie at this point. Obviously, you know, he's got a little maturing to do in terms of his overall talent and game. Tonight, he just seemed to be a little over-anxious. This is the hardest I've seen him work on defense in these games. So I think his over-anxiousness and inexperience caused him to perhaps pick up some fouls that he wouldn't normally pick up. But I'll tell you, he more than broke Wilt Chamberlain's three-game playoff record. 131 points in 3 games. I think Wilt was, what, about 116?
Wilt's was, 116 is right.
So, you know, it's just had a magnificent series, and he's getting a well-deserved acknowledgement from the Chicago fans here.
So Michael Jordan is fouled out, and, you know, to tell it the way it happened here tonight, he was never really a factor because of the Celtics' tremendous team defense on him. Ball goes to the deck, and what's the call from Lee Jones here? It will be a Chicago ball. He never really was a factor, Coos, and all credit must go to the Celtics head coach K.C. Jones and the staff for creating the defense that was able to slow the young man down.
There's no question that it caused him to get rid of the ball, and it didn't allow him to establish a continuity or a flow that he did in the 2 Boston games.
Missed shot by Chicago's John Paxson, and a loose ball foul on Kevin McHale. Sam Vincent will come in for the Celtics, and he replaces Danny Ainge. Danny goes out, a very strong game tonight, 20 points for Danny. Hyde Oakley for the Bulls, and Gene Banks with just under 5 minutes to play in the game. Whistle, foul, Celtics.
Officials
Larry Bird
blowing the whistle quickly on the Celtics now. They know the game is over, and they want to keep it from getting mean, so a quick whistle will have that effect.
Celtics lead by 20. Their biggest lead was 30. And the game was not in doubt early on when the Celtics took an early commanding lead. 14 at the half, and it was a 14-point lead at the half, Coos, but it was like a 24-point lead at the half.
Not only that,
the way it played.
And the Celtics could sense it even at halftime, I think. You know, the way they came out and conducted themselves in terms of running their offense, maintain that defensive intensity. That's why, you know, we've said so often in this game of basketball that the rebounding and the defense is where it's at and what wins in the playoffs. So when you know that you can come out there, you know, when you know you've got the good flow and the good intensity going, and that you can continue, it's just a mindset. You know, you can go out, you've done it for a half, you know you're not going to let down, and you can do it for the second half in your own mind coming out at halftime. They knew they had the game won because it wasn't a question whether the ball is going to go in. A lot of things funny things can happen in the offense. But when you know you can come out and play the type of defense the second half that you did in the first, as I say, you pretty much know in your mind that the game is over and you got good control of it.
One of the Chicago cheerleaders, the Lovabells, I think they call them, just got hit right in the head with that pass underneath. Chicago ball, and they're going to, matter of fact, Dr. Tom Silva and Ray Melchiori are both over attending to her. Woolridge on the drive, count the basket, and a foul on the Celtics' Sam Vincent. Yeah, Ray Melchiori and Dr. Tom Silver both ran over to help out the cheerleader who got hit with a pass a moment ago.
There's the Woolridge penetration.
Woolridge at the line with a free throw to try to make it a three-point play. And he does, and the lead is 17.
Woolridge has not had a good series for him.
No, he's not. He's played below what he normally played against the Celtics in the regular season. Well below that.
If you look at the stats, it would appear that he's had a better than average series, better than the average during the season. But again, statistics are deceiving. And in terms of what he accomplished off the board, his defensive game, I thought, was on target. Stan Albeck also
Technical.
was
Technical.
playing, his frustration.
And he's been thrown out. Albeck really started to give Rush some heat, so Rush threw him out.
Not a good way to end it.
No.
You know, the Chicago has conducted themselves very well up to now in terms of their play against the Celtics. You know, they've really given the Celtics much more of a go than anyone thought they would. Stan stops long enough, however, to congratulate Casey and the coaching staff and the Celtics, which is a classy move. But again, you know, don't take your frustration out. It's easier said than done, I suppose, on the officials at this point, because they were simply beaten by a good, solid effort on the part of the Celtics tonight.
Bird hits the two technical free throws. And fans have started to throw some garbage out on the floor. Robert Parrish now at the line to shoot the two free throws from which the technicals were spawned. Robert had been fouled by Oakley. Albeck objected to the foul a little too strenuously, was hit with a technical. Then, I guess, came up with a few verbal haymakers, and out he went. Parrish missing the front end. One more free throw for the Chief. Rick Carlisle getting set to come in for the Celtics. Wedman is already in. Robert gets 1 out of 2. 114-94, 3:58 to play in the game. But the game has been history for quite some time. Woolridge, and now Macy from outside. Nothing there. Rebound Oakley. The young man muscles it up. No, a whistle and a foul on the Celtics. Carlisle is in, replacing Dennis Johnson. Strong performance by DJ tonight.
I'll tell you, the officials have gotten their work out in this series. Boy, there's been a lot of fouls called. It's really been a very physical series underneath. Because Chicago likes to take everything to the basket. And when they were trapping Michael Jordan, this opened up, you know, driving lanes for whoever was free, and especially in terms of Banks, Woolridge, and Oakley. They really don't have the confidence in our jump shot that they'd like, so they kept banging it into the backboards, and the result was a lot of fouls being called.
Now Bird and Parrish have gone out. Kite and Third-Kill have replaced them, so the Celtics have their second unit on the floor. Vincent, Carlisle are the guards, Third-Kill and Wedman the forwards, and Kite the center. Bird leaves with 19.7 rebounds, 9 assists. The steal by Charles Oakley. Celtics lead by 20. Oakley kicks it off to Woolridge, who carries it a few feet, and it goes out of bounds off Sam Vincent. And it'll be Chicago ball. Paxson, Macy, Woolridge, Banks, and Oakley for Chicago. Jordan is already fouled out of the game. There's the final in Philadelphia. In Washington, Philly has a 2-game lead and a 2-1 lead, and Detroit has cut Atlanta's lead to 2-1 with a victory at Pontiac, Michigan, 106-97. So our series will end in a 3-game sweep for the Celtics, and they can sit around and relax, awaiting the winner of the Atlanta-Detroit series. Kite has it blocked by Oakley. Slapped away by Carlisle. Oakley picks it up. Well, I tell you, the more you see of Oakley, Coos, the more you got to love the deal that Chicago made. They traded Keith Lee for Oakley when they drafted those two players in the first round, Chicago and Cleveland, and Chicago came out way ahead in that one.
No contest.
Steal by Carlisle on the re-steal. Carlisle gets it off to Third-Kill, and he lays it in.
Yeah, no contest between those two from what we've seen.
Oakley plays with so much more intensity.
Yeah, he's going to be a player. He's got to develop an outside shot to complement his inside game a bit. But as far as defense and boards, he's going to be a Barkley type. He doesn't have Barkley's offense. But,
and he plays at a very high level of intensity.
yeah, and Lee, from what we've seen, kind of been going through the motions this year. It's a little early to make judgments on the kid, but he's taller and a better shooter, but Paxton on the breakaway.
Now the Celtics telegraphed the pass, and Paxton just cut right in front of the pass, laid it in. Minute and 56 left to play in this season for Chicago. The Celtics, of course, will move on, looking for flag number 16. The next series will be best of 7, and we're not sure when our first telecast will be in the next series. It'll be a road game, but we're not sure when, nor are we sure where.
I think pack your bags for Atlanta. I think Atlanta will beat Detroit.
Well, after their first 2 wins, I think so too, but Detroit could win again in the next game, and that could take it to a 5th game, and anything could happen there. Timeout with a minute and a half to go, and the Celtics coasting home, free and easy, to a 3-game sweep. Well, there are the victorious troops tonight. Celtics enjoying the fruits of their labor this evening. Some smiles and a little relaxation after taking Chicago out in 3, after 2 out-of-this-galaxy performances by Michael Jordan. Back down to earth a bit tonight, 19 points, and ended up fouling out of the ball game, and the Celtics just coasting along. The final score will not be indicative of the one-sidedness of this contest. Right now, the Celtics lead is 16 points, but they have been leading by 16 points mentally since very early in this ball game. They led by 30 at one point on the scoreboard. Vincent tried to take it inside, had it slapped away. Paxson comes in, slapped away again. We're getting some serious garbage time here right now.
Good move on Casey's part. He would have cleared the bench anyway. The game was over, and, getting any of the regulars out of there, because this is, especially at a time, there's Paxton's drive to the basket again. This is a time you never want to get a player hurt, certainly a front line player, but the tendency is for it to happen a little more easily at this point of the game, the so-called garbage time, and especially where players may be releasing a few more frustrations that they can't find the officials. Who's ever in sight with a different colored uniform, you might as well go after him maybe. So we want to get the troops out of there in this situation.
A minute and 3 seconds to play. The Celtics leading 116 to 102. The 30-point lead materialized several times in the third quarter. 99 to 69 was one of them that I recall. Wedman lays it in. As the Celtics led by 14 at the half and then just blew Chicago's doors off in the third quarter to lead by 28 coming into this fourth, and have just breezed home. Foul called on Rick Carlisle. It'll put John Paxson at the free throw line. Paxson comes from a basketball family. His father played in the NBA against you, I guess, Coos.
He was a good one. Yeah, pretty good player. Good shooter.
Was he the same type of player as John and his brother Jim at Portland?
A little taller, but it runs in the family.
The same style of player?
Yeah, the kid in Portland is an excellent shooter as well.
One more free throw. That one goes for John Paxson. His brother is Jim Paxson at Portland. Jim Paxson played at Dayton, as his father did, and John Paxson played at Notre Dame. Wedman to Carlisle, open, 2. What was Paxson's first name, the father? I can't remember. Was it John? I don't think so.
Dad
Paxson?
Well, he had 2 sons.
Sometimes it was, hey, you. Hey, you, Paxson. Coos, you'll always give me an answer. Won't always be the right one, but you'll always give me an answer.
Since I got a drink out of my grandpa mug now, and
that's
coffee
right.
in the morning, that's the way you identify people, right? Gramps or...
That was son Paxson who just missed the pass. 7 seconds remain to be played in the game. Celtics leading 120 to 103. And Paxson is at the foul line again for Chicago. He's been there a few times. Paxson will shoot 2. What do we have here?
I don't know. Ed Rush is making a lot.
Kite got thrown out of the game.
Ed Rush is making a lot of hand signals. Yeah, but he's telling Greg Kite he's throwing him out of the game.
I wonder why that was. I didn't even see anything happen.
I think he's saying it was a flagrant foul.
Well, if it was a flagrant foul, then there was a flagrant foul. Let's take a look at it here. All right, there's Paxson. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That is a flagrant foul.
What is it with Greg?
Bird will come back in. That is a flagrant foul.
That's the second time Greg has blown his cool in the closing moments of a game that the Celtics have won. Let's see, the Milwaukee game. Was it when he threw the ball at the official?
That was in the first half.
Was it?
Yeah, it's when he started, when the green team started. So Greg has been ejected from the game on the flagrant foul call. One more shot for John Paxson. He gets that one. So it's 120 to 104. Ahead to Sam Vincent. 4 seconds left. Sam is fouled. Tell you what, we've had a gang of fouls called in this game.
Well, I think obviously by design, but design in the sense that I think, before they came out, the boys said to themselves, hey, look, this is going to be a tough game to work.
Let's keep it under control.
Wow, let's start to blow early to establish a tempo and let the guys know that we're not going to put up with too much hanky-panky inside and see if we can't diffuse the situation just a bit. And I think that was successful for the most part.
The best free throw percentage shooter on the Celtics has just hit 2 in a row. Sam Vincent, although of course he didn't have nearly enough to qualify for any title, ended up shooting 92.9% from the foul line, which led the Celtics on the season. And so there's the final score. The Celtics 122 and Chicago 104. Let's go back to our studios.